Hey friends, today we are going to talk all about predicting customer conversions on Pinterest, which is the fancy way of saying how to do just a little bit of target market using Pinterest for your business. But I like the terms predicting conversions using Pinterest a little bit better. I don't know about you. So, if you have not met me yet, my name is Jen, and I am a Pinterest strategist, and I am here to bring you some tips on how you can position yourself and market your business on Pinterest to generate more traffic and leads into your business and ultimately nurture those relationships into lifelong customers and sales. So, today we're going to chat a little bit about this idea of predicting or forecasting your customer or client behavior on Pinterest. This is something that is very unique to Pinterest as a platform because when it comes to Pinterest, it's far different than social media. People use it completely differently than they do social media. They are searching, they are discovering, they are open to ideas and inspiration, and they are taking action. So people on Pinterest tend to go to Pinterest to search for things. They tend to be in the planning mode for things that they are going to eventually purchase or take action on in the future. So understanding this piece and understanding that you're not always going to be targeting when people are purchasing, but also trying to position your business, the content that you're putting out onto Pinterest in a way that you are capturing people when they're in the searching phases and the planning phases. That's what's going to help you then lead people through the rest of their journey to where they are more open to taking action with you. So how do we do this? I have 3 tips for you that I'm going to share today when it comes to predicting your customers' behaviors, patterns, and then ultimately their conversions on Pinterest using Pinterest. So number 1, whatever your business, whatever your industry, I want you to look ahead and plan ahead for your niche. What are your people doing 1 to 3 months from now? What are they thinking? What are they needing? What are they taking action on? What are they buying? What are they doing in the future? So that's going to help you better understand what content you need to put out today that you know they're going to take action on 2 to 3 months from now. So plan ahead. I would do a brainstorm session. I would grab a piece of paper and I would say, if you're sitting down, let's say in January, you're looking ahead at March. What are my people doing in March? Where is my market in March? What are their habits? Are they buying stuff? Are they pulling back from purchasing? Are they researching? What is the market like 2 months out? And that's going to give you an idea of the types of content, the pieces of content that you need to be publishing out onto Pinterest today, 2 months ahead of time. So brainstorm that out and look at, I would say for each month, go through the year and just figure out where your people are 2 months ahead of time. And that's going to give you an indication of their behaviors throughout the year. And then also tie it into bigger events. If you have a seasonal business, if you are in, like, say, the weight loss and wellness space, you have a big seasonal time right before the holidays and right after the holidays when people are taking action. If you are in the let's say teaching space, you have a seasonal time where teachers are actively looking and searching for things for their classroom, and they are going to be taking action at certain points of the year. If you're targeting moms have different seasonalities to what they're looking for, when they're going to be more active on the platform and when they're going to pull back, and then when they're more likely to take action and start buying things. So that's going to help you position yourself a little better. So brainstorm ahead 2 months out, and that will give you an idea of what you need to be putting out onto Pinterest today. Tip number 2 is using the Pinterest Trends tool. So if you go to trends.pinterest.com, that will give you an idea where you can enter in some search terms and just see what Pinterest brings you. That's going to tell you the traffic volume for certain keywords, and that's going to give you ebbs and flows to that traffic throughout the year. So that will give you an idea of how often people are searching for, let's say, the term meal planning. How often people are searching for the term meal planning at certain points of the year. As you can likely assume, like, you're probably going to get a spike in people looking for meal planning around the end of the year, so that when they kick off January for healthier habits, you're going to see a spike at that time. There's a seasonality there. Same thing with back to school. You're probably going to see a seasonality spike right before back to school. So right at the end of summer, August, September, that's when meal planning is going to be a little bit more popular. So then, if you're in sort of the wellness space, you focus on meal planning, you focus on families and healthy meals, anything along those lines, that is going to help you determine those bigger shifts in your market and the dips in your market as well throughout the year. So play with that. It's you might have to figure out what keywords. It's continuing to be developed through Pinterest. So always go back to that, see if you can get some data or information from that for your industry, but it's a helpful tool to help you see when people are most active in your industry if you type in certain keywords related to your industry. Tip number 3 is tracking your results. You want to track those results. When you track your results, you will start to see trends in the user behavior, but not just like across the board. Like through the trends tool is more of a broad general bird's eye view of across Pinterest as a whole. If you're tracking your results, you can start to pull data that's specific to your account. So this is how your people are responding to you and how people are really like searching stuff that's related to you that you're putting out there and how they're interacting with your account. Because even if you're in the same industry, so meal planning, let's go back to that example for health and wellness, we'll just do meal planning or meal prepping. Okay. So somebody in that space, if you're looking at meal planning, you can target different markets for meal planning. So let's say you're targeting people that are looking for meal planning on a budget. That's going to feed a different niche of people on Pinterest versus looking for just meal planning for freezer meal planning or different, or like I would say like maybe more like gluten-free meal planning. Like you can hit different markets. So just because you've got 2 accounts in the same industry, the data for each of those accounts is going to be completely different. It can vary from one business to another. So this really depends on what you as a business are putting out onto Pinterest and then collecting the data of how people are interacting or engaging with your content. And that is where you're going to start to see those trends over time. So again, remember, it's over the course of a year, a time frame. So you're not going to want to, if you look at, for example, like the meal planning space, you can't come in and say, okay, I have this significant increase in traffic in back to school time, but then as we get into the fall, it starts to dip off. And if you are just looking at that tiny window to determine whether or not Pinterest works for you without seeing the bigger picture, you're really limiting how well you're able to track what your market is doing on Pinterest as a whole. So keep that into account, that you want to track your results for, at least 12 months to see where your market is at. And then you're always tracking January to January, February to February. Because of those ebbs and flows, you don't want to track just Q1 and see how January compares to February compares to March, because that is just a fraction of the overall picture for the year. So I hope this was helpful. A few tips for you guys to work on and take action on when it comes to doing a little bit of market research, like looking at your target market on Pinterest, but ultimately figuring out where and when and how your customers and your clients are approaching the platform, what they're looking for, and what they're taking action on, which is what we all want to know as business owners, and how we can get in front of them to help better serve them through our products, services, and offers. So if this was helpful, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, and so you can catch any other Pinterest tips that I come out with each week. And as always, if you're looking for more information specifically on Pinterest, if you want to come hang out with me, I will drop a link below to the free Pinterest community. That is where I hang out. I go a little bit more in depth in some of these live trainings and these live sessions. So I look forward to seeing you in there. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming today, and I will see you next week. Bye.